Yo guys, welcome to a brand new video. It is 9:30 in the morning, so we are just about to go to uni in about half an hour. I thought I'd do a quick video on some of the news websites that I use to kind of aid me in my trading. Especially when we're trading options, it's very kind of imperative to know what's going on in the economy, purely because, and there's a distinction between I guess trading the options from trading the stocks, in a sense, depending on what you're doing with stocks. If you're like trading penny stocks and you're not actually paying attention to the ticker, which is the symbol, which is the company, you're probably not going to be paying too much attention to the economics of the world or the economy. But when we're trading options, it's very imperative that we actually know what's going on in the world, in the country, economically speaking, politically speaking, all the details that basically control the economy. Purely because anything that happens in the news related to the economy and the stock market and even politics has a knock-on effect on the market, and the market sees and reacts to economic and political events in two ways. You know, it's either going to be good or bad. I guess nothing could happen, so maybe there's multiple ways what could happen, but it's important to know, purely because if the news comes out that, you know, we're going to be leaving Brexit, or we're not going to be leaving Brexit, or, you know, let's say Apple CEO gets fired, or Tesla's CEO gets fired, or something happens and it's a large company like Apple or Tesla or the SPY, the S&P 500, then that's going to have a huge effect on the market. And if you go to invest into a company and you feel like it's 5% down, but you don't understand why that company is 5% down on the day, and you realize, oh, the company's going bust, or the company's CEO gets fired, or they've been indicted, or something happens, that company could actually go, you know, even further down. So it's, you might have the perspective of, oh, this company's 5% down, I'll best, you know, buy some shares, buy some options. But the thing is, that could go even further. So it's very important to actually do the news and actually see what's happening. If the stock's 5% down and there's not much news, that's actually even not exactly a good sign either, because why is it 5% down? There might be some inside information, inside trading, you don't know. So it's just important to have an overall good understanding of the news. So I have a good 15 tabs open on one computer. I also have a TV above me with my 15-inch screen that has all my charts on there, and then I have my trading screen to the left of me. So I do have these up, and these refresh every time there's a new update. So we have, at the moment, we have the Investors Daily, okay, and I'm just going to kind of walk through each of them, and feel free to use these, you know, in your own trading as well. And you can see this is the date. So we have the date, we have a bit of the stock market today, we've got the Dow Jones futures. It gives you a bit of the information. These are articles, you can click onto them, and it gives you a bit more information, you know, on the Dow Jones here. Okay, it gives you a short introduction, the stock market rally update, you know, and that gives you a bit of inside information on the stock market in the Dow Jones. Also tells you, you know, what is the stock market up to today? Is it down? Is it not? Best stocks for buying right now. That's just one of the links. We also have the Wall Street Journal, which is a good place to go to. We have Bill Gates here, the best investment I've ever made. John Bogle, the founder of Vanguard, passed away last night. Unfortunately, he was, I think, 89. He was 89 years old here. A very, very intelligent and prolific investor. As old as he was, or as late as he was in his life, he spoke very elegantly and very fluently for a very, I would say, older person. He was very turned on and switched on and intelligent, and he made Vanguard. He was the main owner of Vanguard. So these are some of the websites that you can use. So we have some of the articles here. We've got, you know, May survives vote, but Brexit path remains unclear. So this is important. Brexit is really important at the moment. We have Huawei. Okay, and we have, I'm just having a look for myself because I haven't actually looked this morning, so I'm just trying to find the news as well for you guys. We then have Investopedia, which we have the markets and economy. So we can see we've got market and economy, we have politics, and money, people and law, and some of the others. But these are the insights. So these are like the main headings in the markets and economy. So we have biggest challenges for cannabis industry in 2019. So that's important for anyone who's like trading CGC or any of the weed companies and stocks. Very important to have an insight on what's actually going on for the companies, because you can see here, this will give you a description on the legalization and what basically, here you go, CGC. This is what I mean. It's mentioning CGC here. Okay, inquired the intellectual property of a Colorado-based marijuana research company. Okay, it's likely that 2009 will bring additional mergers and acquisitions to the top of the cannabis industry headlines. This is important for people because, you know, investors invested more than 4 billion, okay, into CGC. So this is very important. You know, my first trade on options was on CGC. I made 46%. So this is very important. Our predictions for the top investing terms of 2009 and 19. So we have some information here. We have some financial terms here. So that's another place we can go on to. We've got the politics and money. Another place we can explore. Okay, the gross domestic product, GDP, quantitative easing and Brexit. These are all very important. Okay, quantitative easing very important for me at the moment because I have a finance exam in a couple weeks time. So this is very important for me, although I do have a pretty good understanding on quantitative easing. We then have the Financial Times, and this is I get this free from my university course, so I actually have an account here. So we have, at the moment, we're on the markets. So this is the news for the markets currently. Okay, so we've got option and analysis here. We've got the news about the pound. Okay, bets on the pound volatility point to Brexit delay. Okay, we've got some other countries here. We've got Mexico, we've got Brexit, more on the markets. Okay, January the 17th, which is today. And then over to the right, we have the most read markets. So we have here, you can see Trump's American rethinks engagement with China. Investors think Musk Tesla made another pot joke. Okay, this is important if you're trading Tesla, I guess. Things like that can affect the stock quite a lot. When this actually happened with Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, I think the stock went down 10% just from a YouTube video. From a YouTube video of Elon Musk being interviewed by Joe Rogan, the stock went down 10%. It then rebounded that 10%. So you could have had multiple trades there. Okay. We then have the Financial Times on the world. China's debt threat. Okay. This is recommended reading. So we have a weekly podcast as well, which you can, and all these resources are free. This is why I'm showing you these. This is why I'm trying to get you guys to start, you know, doing the research and start looking at the bigger picture. Technical analysis is okay, but the fundamentals dictate the technical analysis in a sense. Okay, so we're having support and resistance, but if an economic event comes out, then those support and resistance mean nothing. Okay, so the Financial Times is a really good one. The Wire, this is a really good website. The Wire, which is basically literally wiring through all the recent information. So this is one of those things where you just have to kind of scan through. We've got like delay on Brexit, you know, we have things that you can pull out of here quite quickly, but like I said, this is updating like every 5 to 10 minutes. So it's probably best just to scan through this. You can see here China confirms. You can just, if you're looking for if you're kind of speed reading and looking for the company name you want, or you could just, you know, Control F and look for Apple. And if you can't see anything, you know, there's no news, it would help to spell Apple correctly. There's no news on Apple, so you can, you know, keep going down and search Apple. There's nothing on Apple, and you can see here, you go, okay, Apple. So Apple, Amazon called out for incorrect. And then you've got Apple, same news here. So this was 3 hours ago, okay? So Taiwan, Hong Kong references. So here we have, this was read. This was posted 3 hours ago, and we have one of China's top government-linked think tanks has called out Apple, okay, Amazon, and another foreign companies for not referring to Hong Kong and Taiwan as a part of China in a report that provoked a stern reaction from. So that's very important to read, because like I say, if these companies that you're paying attention to have bad news, it's going to affect the stock really badly. So next we have the Market Watch. This is another good website. We have the market news here, and then the next tab is just on the latest news. Okay, so this has got some Brexit in here, got the Sage Group, okay, and we have some others in here. We've got SpaceX and Trump administration. So this is just kind of, you could go on the top stories. Okay, Brexit again, very important. We have Sage as well in there. Buyers are finally finding more discounts on new homes. It depends on the interest rates and stuff like that. So how relevant is that for trading? Stock market news is obviously going to be more dedicated towards investing. We have Bitcoin is displaying lethargic base and has yet to find a bottom, says an analyst. Google bumps price of its Microsoft Office competitor for the first time in a decade. This could be important. This could affect the stock. I'm not saying it will do, but just, it's good to have an idea of what's going on. You can see the stock here. You've got here, Apple is reportedly planning to cut back on hiring as iPhone sales weaken. This is not good. Okay, in fact, I'm going to share that on. Yeah, that's not overall good news for Apple. I mean, Apple are already down like 50%. They're already down a hell of a lot. But that's not good. Apple will slow hiring for some divisions, okay, aimed amid disappointing iPhone sales. It's not good, guys. It's not good. You can trade the news. Trust me, you can trade the news. Okay, economic calendar. This is quite important. So this is the Yahoo Finance, and this gives you. So if I refresh, this gives you the economic events on here, and then you can click onto them, or you can go onto all events, and this will show you all the events. So you got stock split. So you got one stock split today. You got 48 earnings. Very, very imperative. These companies are having earnings. That's going to affect their stock dramatically. Netflix, they have earnings today. Okay, that's going to affect the stock hugely. Okay, let's just have a look at Netflix just to show you. So let's have a look at Netflix. So this is Netflix. So you can see with the news of their earnings coming out today, the previous 3 days ago, we had a huge run up in Netflix. Okay, so 3 or 4 days ago, so 2 days ago, we had a huge run up. Okay, we had a huge run up of, have a look, 6%. Okay, now we're starting to come back down again, and then probably we might rally today. If the earnings are good, we might rally. If the earnings aren't so good, we might come down to the 200 EMA and then all the way back down to the support before the rally. Okay, so important to watch the earnings, especially on large companies like Apple. I'm trying to think if there's any others in here that I can. We have Morgan Stanley as well. We have some banks in here as well. So important to know, we have Yahoo. This is the live Yahoo News. So when this starts, this will come on and this will run all day. So this is just a small kind of, you can use this in the background if you would like. Bloomberg, this is important. We have kind of a summary of the markets and the news here. So you've got the economics, you've got currencies, you've got commodities, stocks, futures. This just gives you some small articles. So we've got the markets, economics and markets. Okay, we've got the outlook for the UK's housing. This can be important depending on what kind of trader you are. So we've got Brexit here. Like I say, this is huge, and as you can see here, so bad it's good. Market see silver lining in Brexit reject. Then if you wanted to go into the menu, you could make this a little bit more specific by going on to the technology or markets. Then you can go on to the ones that you want to be looking at more in depthly. We have Elon Musk here, we've got the Tesla. I'm just going to go on to Business Week and just kind of see what's going on. So we have Donald Trump here. Okay, we have some of the latest news. The next one we have is CBOE, and this is the stock market news, and this is kind of like a live summary of the articles. Like I say, these are posted quite frequently. Okay, and like I say, this is just one of those ones where you just have to scan through, see if there's anything that is relevant to your trading, the company you're trading or the country you're trading in, anything like that. And if you can try and get, you know, a quick snippet of the main news, like I say, you can go on the news main and just look at that, you know, the most relevant ones that are actually happening right now. So we have the earnings scheduled for January the 17th, and then this will take you to all the ones that the earnings are happening today, kind of like we just showed, just showed on the Yahoo Finance. But this just kind of gives you another way of getting the earnings for the news. We also have an economic calendar, which is an earnings calendar, which is similar to the Yahoo Finance as well, but it's always good to just double check against other websites just to see if the information is correct. We then have a good website called News Now, which is very important. I like this a lot. It gives you the latest and the top stories and the most read in a live feed. So I have business and finance, I have the markets, I have the UK business, and I have Brexit, and then I have hot topics. So very important, and a lot of stuff to digest. I do understand, but it's very important. Like I say, you can spend 90% of your time researching and only 10% of your time trading, and you're going to be a successful trader, because it's not how long you trade. It's actually, in a sense, how short you trade, but what are you doing in the outside? What are you doing external to your trading? A lot of traders actually only make, you know, some professional traders, if you actually, you know, like read the Market Wizards and books, you know, who are read or designed books from famous investors, a lot of them only trade 10 to 15 times a year, but they are trading large economic and political events. So they trade off the news, and they only have to make a small 2 or 3 trades a month, or, you know, 10 to 15 trades a year. But because their trades are so successful, it allows them to only trade so minor throughout the year. But this is a really good one, News Now. I really do like this. Like I say, you got the top stories, you got the latest news, and you've also got the most read. So this is kind of really good for people who kind of not too sure what to be reading, because you've got the top stories. So they're the ones, you know, they're the most, I guess they're the most important. Okay. And then you've also got the most read. So what actually other people are reading. Okay. So we've got Brexit, we've got the pound live. Okay. We've got the 4 of the FTSE 100's biggest shares. But we do have some of the stuff on Brexit, obviously, you know, which happened yesterday. But if you go down, you can see here, we've got the last 7 days, the last 4 days. And then you can also go on to view more, and this will take you to the actual, you know, how many more we have on here. So we've got growth. We've got China's growth set to slow, 6.3% in 2019. That's not good. You know, if you're invested into Chinese companies, Huawei, and, you know, other companies that are in China, even weed stocks, got to be careful. And then the markets as well, we have the UK business. So we've got the most read on here. So we have some, this is going, so the UK business, this is going to be more, you know, related to actual businesses and what other companies are doing, not exactly related precisely to the markets, but in a sense, I guess it can be relevant if the news is to do with one of your companies. I was just trying to find some news that I could kind of chew an example of. A lot of it's just Brexit, to be honest, because of what's happening right now. Yeah, and then we have Brexit. Okay, so this is obviously this is updated, you know, a lot, because there's a lot of articles happening right now. So the latest news here, the past 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then we've got the most read. Okay, in the past 3 hours, this was the most read. Okay, and then if you click onto one of these articles, this actually takes you to the actual website. Then you can read the whole article yourself and kind of digest it and share it if you would like, and just gives you a bit more in-depth information on what's going on. So that was the Brexit, and then this is kind of top hot topics. So we've got politics, we've got Brexit, Donald Trump, Theresa May, cryptocurrencies, trade war. I'm trying to see if the markets, Facebook is in here. Okay, trying to see if the markets are on here, but there's a lot of stuff on here. Me too. There's a lot of stuff on here that we can use. Like I say, it depends on what kind of trader you are and what you're kind of trading, but I would pay attention to Brexit, politics, and Donald Trump quite a lot if you're going to be trading some of these large companies, you know, the SPY, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Netflix. These companies do fluctuate on the news quite a lot. So there was a quite in-depth tabulation of how many websites that you can be looking at, and not to say these are the ones you need to be looking at. These are just some of the ones that I've gathered throughout a couple months of trading. So you don't have to use all the ones I'm using. You could only use 2 or 3 of them. They're just some of these suggestions that you can use. Some people ask me all the time, what news do you actually read? So these are some of the websites that I actually read on a daily basis. And then there's some YouTube videos that I also watch, but that's not live. That's always like the next day. So this is live news. And then there's other YouTubers that I listen to as well and watch their videos. So that's kind of, I guess, a summary of some of the news websites I watch. I didn't go too in depth into it. I just wanted to give you the information where you can go and find it, and then you can, it's no point me reading off the news when you can, because the time you watch the video, the news is going to be kind of irrelevant. So, but they're the websites I watch, and I keep on a tab separate to my trading and my other TVs, my other TV and my other screen. So I think that's going to be the end of the video. If you did like the video, give it a thumbs up. If there's anything I left out or anything you'd like to ask me, please leave it in the comment section below. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. That'll help me help you. And other than that, guys, I will see you all in the next video.